All right, the second video is gonna be on Rojava. Professor Laura just returned back from Rojava a couple of days ago. She's been following the Rojava course and Rojava case for long enough to be able to understand what's happening there and understand what's the reason behind Turkish invasion and how the situation is going to be. I am taking this opportunity to get a little bit more about this from her recent visit. Professor Laura, welcome back.
Thank you.
So can you talk to me about Rojava? What did you see when you recently visited Rojava?
Well, I focused mostly on understanding, also in the past few years, democratic confederalism. So how, this new paradigm of politics can help other places, not just Rojava, but in the whole world,
To evolve.
Yeah, to have a direct democracy, a direct democracy, involving everybody in decision-making processes, neighborhood by neighborhood, where there are representatives, coordinators, double apex, a man and a woman for each responsibility, a man and a woman for each place of responsibility and leadership. Having, democratic confederalism means having more religions, different ethnic groups, different ideas, merging with each other in a harmonic way. So it's just the opposite of what colonialism did. Just the opposite. Colonialism brings its own perspective, its own Weltanschauung, its own vision of the world. It's one religion, one way of doing politics.
One nation.
One nation, one color, white supremacy, one class, capitalist, being dominant on the others, one religion being dominant on the other. It's just the opposite is democratic confederalism and direct democracy for how it's being in an experimental, successful way in Rojava. So also, women who are very much involved in politics. I made a dozen of interviews to women in organizations having different places and responsibilities, and different women from different ages, Arabs, Kurdish, Turkmen, Ezedi, Armenian, Syriac. I found a great richness that, real democracy, not Western democracy, just representative democracy.
Democracy, exactly.
That you go to vote at one time every 3 or 4 years and then they decide everything for you. It's not delegating other to decide for you, but it's through direct democracy that you can achieve, the well-being of people. Also, trying to, have women very much active in political life and doing all types of science of women. The recent agreement, the recent visit and meeting between Kobani and Barzani, it's the product of genealogy of feminist diplomacy, and it's a different perspective where one doesn't have to prevail on the other, and conflicts are there to be solved, not to be taken advantage of. So if we learn how to solve our conflicts in a way that it is satisfactory for everybody, those who are trying to dominate, those who are trying to be aggressive, those who are trying to take other people's land, those who are trying to downgrade a culture and impose another culture, will lose. But if we don't solve conflicts, the way feminist diplomacy is doing, if we are not trying to solve the problems, the way genealogy is telling, giving place to women in this conflict resolution. So it's not a case that Kobani and Barzani had a meeting, and this is to be greeted as a good result of genealogy, a good result of women putting all the efforts for this to happen.
I mean, this is very interesting. You're talking about the multinational, multi-ethnic, multi-religious experiment or experience in Rojava. Well, probably some people think that Rojava is only a Kurdish dominated entity. Because probably this is the good reason for Turkey to attack them, to try to remove this and try to dismantle this around 7-8 years good experiment of bringing all these diversity together and making them exercise the thing that you call it direct democracy. So if the situation in reality is like that, why Turkey is attacking them? Why Turkey try to to dismantle this experiment or entity, while under the title of fighting terrorism?
Well, Turkey is the Turkish state, not the Turkish people, because the Turkish state under the government of Erdogan is also making the Turkish people suffer and Turkish women suffer. So the Turkish state now is doing a sort of colonial type of politics. Turkish state colonial politics has to do with markets. They are invading the markets everywhere they can, including here in the regional government of Kurdistan.
Yes.
So including here, you don't find anything without made in Turkey, which means that people here are disempowered from having their own businesses, from doing their own production of useful goods. So Turkish state is doing a colonial politics, market colonial politics, and also land grabbing. So as we know, land grabbing is happening all over the world.
Yep.
Land grabbing is happening in the Amazonias. Land grabbing is happening everywhere there are indigenous people and indigenous lands that are seen just as places where resources can be taken without having to pay anything. So, and indigenous people are seen just as expendable people that have to be cleaned up from there, so they can have their own, access to petrol, gas, and minerals, etc. So instead of allowing this to happen, I think in Rojava, the Kurdish people have been very good in unveiling this type of politics. So now it's clear to everybody that Turkish is doing a colonial politics from an economic, military point of view. They're also helping ISIS. They're also helping the Islamic State to
re-emerge.
Say again?
To re-emerging.
To re-emerge, but to get rid of Kurdish people, because the Kurdish people are in the way of a lot of international affairs, a lot of international business, and to have in the middle of Middle East, to have a direct democracy that is demonstrating how people can do self-government without the state, without parties, without any type of external interference. How can you allow this to happen? So the Rojava experience is not frightening only for Turkey. The Rojava experience is frightening also for Americans, and that explains why they want to help Kurdish people and then they betray to Kurdish people, and then they want to help Kurdish people and then they want to betray Kurdish people again. So, you know, the direct democracy experience of Rojava is not threatening only to the Turkish state. It is threatening for every state, because it demonstrates that state is historically passé, as well as the party, as a vertical, pyramidal, power-driven type of political structure. Political parties are passé, also are part of the past. But, you know, still they work, still they enjoy power. They are not concerned with people wellness. They're not concerned with progress of human beings and harmony and cooperation. They're concerned with private interests. They're concerned with having the elite being able to reproduce itself. So, you know, it's not just the Turkish state invading Rojava. It's about, you know,
the whole world.
Trump being also threatened by this interreligious, interethnic democracy, direct democracy. About Putin also, USSR, former USSR demonstrating their own failure in terms of state and party structures. It is about other states, like the Iraqi state,
Syria.
like the Syrian state, like the Iranian states, all patriarchal, or all capitalist, all managed by a minority, the Ayatollah, or a specific political party, like it was Bahatism before, it was Saddam Hussein here before, and still, you know, that's the most painful interview I had in my life. So basically, you know,
Guys, excuse us for the road.
Yeah, the road is really awful. But I think what I wanted to say, that if it was just Turkey, you know, the YPG would have already been arrived in Istanbul, but it's not just Turkey. It's about Russia, it's about the United States, it's about Syria, Iran, and Iraq, and elites in general who want to be state, who want to reproduce themselves, keeping a system of oppression based on class, based on ethnicity, based on one religion, etc., and patriarchy, of course.
Among all these wolves, how do you look at the future of Rojava entity?
Wolves are good animals. Humans sometimes are bad animals, but in fact, when Hobbes said, you know, homo homini lupus, if you know, the human beings were really like wolf, they would stop when they see blood. But the humans don't stop when they see the blood of their own species.
Yeah.
Wolves do stop. And so wolves are much better than us often. So in terms of there is also a lot of dust.
Yes.
In terms of how answering to your question, what is how
The future is.
what is going on in Rojava, I hope that you know, the Kurdish people can find unity and solve the conflicts of the past and understand they have a common interest. They are not pieces of land in between states. They are a great country that can live without a state because they know how to, the Kurdish people know how to govern themselves, and because they can give space to women for leadership. And in this process, the contribution of women, the genealogy and democratic confederalism is really very, very much important. So I see in the future overcoming states also in other countries, also in Iraq, also in Syria, also in Iran, also in Turkey. These states will not last forever. And democratic confederalism is getting viral all over the world because it's a good recipe for coexistence, for living together without war. Because if it was for women, war would have never been invented.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.